What's the most insulting gift you've ever received? Serious. Story 1. My mom always buys me clothes, more specifically shirts from Target or Goodwill, for every gift. Even though I tell her I have too many clothes, I've been trying to get rid of clothes. I don't want to need any more clothes, but she always buys me sizes XL and up even though I'm a comfortable SM. And then when I tell her it's too big, she always says, shocked, I thought it would fit. And occasionally even add that she thought I was chubbier than that. Story 2. When I was 12, my parents gave me a snow shovel as a Christmas gift. One of my chores was shoveling the driveway, and I used to complain that our old shovel was bent and rusted. Big mistake. Story 3. My now estranged father offered to take me clothes shopping for my birthday. We went to an outlet store, and I proceeded to have fun the way a 20-something girl has fun shopping for clothes, while he sulked in a corner the whole time. The next day, at my party with our whole family, he gave me a birthday card in which he referred to me as and a princess, in reference to how he thought I acted while on a shopping trip that he suggested in the first place. Story 4. When I was in high school, my mom got me a shirt that made fun of my ADD. It referenced chickens. She then proceeded to buy chicken-related things for the next few years, and to this day points out anything related to chickens like it's some kind of inside joke. It didn't really bother me at first, but after nearly a decade now, it honestly hurts my feelings. Story 5. When I was in 16, my dad insisted on me paying $1,000 a month rent. After a while, I moved out BC. I found cheaper rent. For my birthday, he sent me a card that said, you don't owe me rent for the time you have been gone, with a happy face on it. Felt like a slap in the face. Story 6. When I hadn't lost all my baby weight 6 months after childbirth, my mother-in-law gave me a plastic pig magnet for the refrigerator. It oinked every time you opened the door. Story 7. My dad's third wife got me a book about manners. I used it to level her coffee table the same day. She re-gifted it to me at least 5 other times. I found a way to put it back in her house every time. Story 8. Literally nothing. 1 year, the only thing I got at my dad's family Christmas was a Bop It. Meanwhile, my cousins each got like 6 gifts each, and I had to watch them open them and try not to cry. I was like 8. The family got chewed out by my grandmother afterwards, and things got better afterwards. Story 9. My mom's family used to do a Secret Santa every Christmas. The year after my parents got divorced, my aunt and uncle got me and my brother. We got 2 of their kids. They stopped at a gas station on the way down and bought us like gas station novelty, like the first things they saw. They wrapped them in the bags they came in along with the receipts and basically just tossed them at us when it was their turn. It was dead silent and profoundly awkward. Most of my mom's family really dislikes this part of the family, and there was a significant amount of shade thrown non-verbally. So we took it in stride because we aren't total sacks of, and proceeded to give their kids the gifts we got them, when this was met with significantly less awkward tension, which my aunt and uncle noticed and couldn't suffer. So they said, and I quote, well, they're Jewish, so they don't even celebrate this holiday, and they aren't even really a part of the family anymore. So why would we spend any money on their gifts? There was a gift minimum and maximum at like $20. The fun was finding a funny, interesting gift. No one was expected to get anyone something crazy. We're Irish Catholic. There are like 30 of us. Later, they tried to say they knew we'd cheap out on the gifts, and that's why they did it. Then they made their kids cry by making them leave what we'd gotten them at my grandmother's. Yeah, so we don't do that anymore, and they get invited to like one family event per year, which is my grandmother's birthday. Story 10. 1 month after I started growing a beard, a wide variety of shavers for Christmas. 1 from each family member, 2 electric ones, a lot of manual ones, razors, and other stuff. I could just open shaving museum with all this collection, knowing that I'll never get the chance to use them. Story 11. A guy once thought he could ask me out by giving me money, like just a bunch of random bills, probably about 15 in total. He said it was better than a gift card. I said no to him asking me out. Story 12. My divorced parents, independently, with no contact with each other, gave me a no-no, a hair removal device, and an offer for laser hair removal, without ever talking to me about my body hair before, and in front of everybody. I've been made fun of for my dark body hair all my life, or dealt with people pointing out that I've missed a spot, so it especially was embarrassing when I never asked for either of those things. Story 13. Oh man, my sister is the queen of horrible gifts. From her, I've gotten used hiking boots, one size too small, missing a shoelace. I don't hike old Smurf stuffed animal. Used, missing an eye because I like Smurfs. I don't. She bragged she washed it first and she got it at Goodwill. A basket of soap and shampoo samples from various hotels she had visited. Her old sewing basket since she bought herself a new one. A weird random box mailed to me with old Happy Meal toys and a broken ornament, an old bookmark. A care package mailed to me with muffins she had made that were obviously a mistake recipe. They tasted horrid, like she used salt instead of sugar. And the kicker, our dad died in April right before my college graduation in May. When we divided up his things, she took his old beat-up briefcase that was permanently locked. We didn't know the combination. A month later, she gave it to me as my graduation gift. To answer the questions that are forthcoming, I have no idea why she does this. It's caused me to have great distance from her. We basically don't talk or see each other. We occasionally text, as she has two boys who are my only nephews. We don't live in the same state. We are both now in our 40s, and yes, every year for Christmas and my birthday, I get another package of stupid useless from her. Story 14, not so much the gift, but the way it was given. When I was going through my divorce, I went home for Christmas. My aunt gave me a pair of pajamas, which I tried on and found a couple sizes too small. I went to my aunt and told her the pajamas were nice, but unfortunately too small. Usually when we buy the wrong size, my relatives and I are more than happy to return or exchange. Well, you'll have to lose weight, my aunt said to me. She had bought them on clearance in January and couldn't take them back. And instead of saying, oh shoot, I'm sorry about that, or literally anything a normal person might say, she tells my sad, pathetic divorcee that I have to lose weight. I told my mom, and she bought the pajamas for me. Story 15, my very religious ex-mother-in-law gave me a book on better parenting through Christ. I am not at all religious, and she knew it's rude and presumptuous to give someone a book on how to be a better parent. Story 16, I had gone to college with a music scholarship. Spent my entire life working to make it in a specific part of the music industry, only because my adopted parents told me that was the only way I'd ever get to have a higher education. Forced myself to work in an art that I slowly started to hate, because I was not in it for passion, but because of a lie that was the only job I could ever have. I broke down and was not able to finish my education when I could have, because the pressure killed my ability. After a long 2 years of me uprooting and redirecting my life, my birth father, who knew all of this, gave me an instrument and music and told me that I should start with this instrument that he wanted me to play. I never knew I could be so insulted by being given something. But the icing on the cake was he got angry when a year later I had to sell it because I had to move to a smaller place, had no money, and he refused to take it back. He wanted me to play it even though I had no interest and was still very sore about the whole situation. He didn't care. He wanted me to play his instrument because it was unfair that I learned what my parents wanted instead of my true blood. Story 17, I got no birthday present from my ex. For context, her birthday was about 2 weeks before mine, and I spent at least $50 on gifts and almost $100 on dinner. It isn't about the money, but I did put a lot of thought into both the presents and where we went for dinner. Then any time after the fact, when I brought up that she still hadn't gotten me a present, she would cry and make excuses and make me feel bad. No, I did not break up with her because she never got me a birthday present, but it was a contributing factor and symptomatic of larger problems she had. Story 18, honestly, not sure how insulting this is. Actually, I find it funny. Someone gave me a box that had batteries in it. The note said gift not included. Wow, guys, T-check for all the upvotes. Story 19, for Christmas, I usually just gave my parents a list of what size I wore for everything. One Christmas, they got me only one thing, a 2-pack sports bras in XL. I wrote small, medium. I cried. I tried it on and saw it basically dangling off me and cried again. I was 14, I think. I've struggled with an eating disorder a good majority of my teenage years. So to think that my parents thought I wore an XL and didn't pay any mind believe my size chart hurt me a lot. They said it was just because I have big and that I was being ungrateful. I might have been at the time, but it was the only thing they got me for Christmas that year, and it could have been returned and didn't fit. So I practically got nothing for Christmas but to cry for hours. Story 20, size 4 XL pants for my aunt. As a 170-pound teenage girl, this crushed my spurt. I was only a size large, but thought this was how they perceive how big I was. Story 21, my husband gave me plaid flannel pajama pants for Christmas. They were soft and cozy, but I held them up and realized they were size XL. I weighed like 100 pounds at the time, but I had just found out I was pregnant with our first son, and as soon as I saw the tag and then looked at him in horror, he explained I thought these could be comfy for later, when you're more pregnant, so not a horrible gift, super sweet and thoughtful gift. My water broke while I was wearing them, or else I'd have kept them forever. Story 22, a chair, except that it actually didn't exist. Here's the deal: we moved to yet another house. My mother decided to buy me a new chair, but it was some garbage. After a few minutes of leaning on the back, it basically dropped off the chair, it broke. My mother started to shout you were supposed to be sitting, not lying. I kept telling her no big deal. If I'm not supposed to be leaning anyway, then I don't need this back, so why care about it? Didn't help. Then she said, okay, this was your birthday gift, then I'll buy you a new one. The thing is, she bought the exactly same model. While I wasn't leaning, the back lasted a bit longer. But one day I was trying to reach something from the top shelf, so I stood on it, and I crashed out. Of course, the back again dropped off as soon as I hit it. My mother again started shouting that I broke the chair. My sisters were there, and one said that I could have killed or injured myself. and she thinks only about the chair. That helped. Story 23 will probably get buried, but 7-year-old me was super in love with foxes. I made little clay models of fox families, had soft toys, drew pictures, etc. My yeah grandma, knowing this, gave me a fox fur coat. It even had little fox tails hanging off it. Gracious little me thanked her with a trembling lip, then went home and sobbed. I remember hugging it as if I could bring it back to life, but also being revolted by it. I handed it to Mom and told her to burn it. Cried over that for days. Yeah meant well, but man, did the intention get corrupted somewhere. She bought me a plush toy fennec fox years later and kind of made up for it. Story 24, my now ex-husband, gave me a book called 100 Nights of Great. It was a book of fun things to spice up your life, but he wouldn't do even one of them and wasn't interested in having with me more than a once or twice a month. I'm not sure if he intended it as an insult, but it felt like he was saying, you want to get laid so bad. Hey, race another 100 ways to get rejected. Peak of anorexia. Offered gym membership. Story 25, my aunts came to my bridal shower, and one aunt got me one hot pink towel and one hot pink washcloth that probably came from Dollar General. I had registered for neutral beach colors. Another got me pastel pink hand towels and washcloths again, likely from Dollar General. 2 aunts chipped and got me a joint gift of stationery set that was literally from the dollar store. My wealthy aunt got me a 10-tea kettle. I invited them because I wanted them there and wouldn't have been hurt at all had they not brought a gift. We had always been close, but didn't see each other often because we didn't live near each other. This kind of felt like a slap in the face, and I don't even know what I was being punished for. It was embarrassing, but I put a smile on and never let them know it hurt me. I'm sure they were looking for some kind of reaction since they all seemed to plan it together. Story 26, on Christmas Day, 3 months before I turned 18, with my half-brother visiting, I have only gotten to spend time with him a few times. I saw there was a huge present beside the tree, like it was a good 5 feet tall. It had my name on it, and I was super excited. We saved it for last. It was all the stuff my father confiscated from me over the years: video games, movies, clothes, work uniforms, homework, school books, and a lot more. My huge Christmas gift was all of the stuff he stole from me. My father wanted the house to be neat, so he would confiscate anything that was not hidden in some way. Homework on a desk, confiscated. Movie case on the DVD player, confiscated. Work uniform laid out on the bed, so you could change quickly after school, confiscated. I don't think I came out of my room for 2 days after that happened, because I was so pissed off and embarrassed. I moved out the day I turned 18, and it was one of the many reasons why. Story 27, pretty much every Secret Santa Eve ever been a part of. For one, a friend gave me a Loon Song CD and a random paperback. I honestly think he just grabbed from his garage. Most recent was this year at work. We all had little worksheets with our favorite things we had enough of and stuff like that. Everyone got really creative, and it was fun. My boss drew my name and apparently forgot. So she got me an iTunes gift card. I don't own any Apple products, and she knows I hate them. Luckily, she switched it for Google Play one, so that was nice, I guess. Story 28, backstory: bullied a lot in HS. Not the most popular girl, a mix of being socially awkward, low self-esteem. Beck of said bullying and isolation. Christmas holidays comes around. It's my fave holiday time of the year, and we're 2 days from the holiday break. Classmates are exchanging gifts. We have a mandatory one for the Secret Santa. Nothing really nice, but the gifts were at a low budget. Lots of chocolates and candies. Anyway, I asked a classmate who was giving out personal gifts as a joke if he got me a present. Said classmate was one of the few who didn't bully me. Was surprised that he said, "Wait a minute," and started rummaging in his bag. Even said, "Hey, you didn't have to." Pulled out a packet of dental hygiene kit, something you would buy from a dollar store type quality. It was a set of a really shoddy toothbrush and a tongue scraper. I was internally horrified and became super conscious. Was my breath that horrible? Do I have nasty teeth? I thanked him, and he just shrugged and left me. I felt awful about my dental hygiene for majority of my life till now. I also avoided him a bit since Beck. I felt that maybe I thought we were friends, but reality we're not. HS sucks. Story 29, towels. While the gift itself doesn't sound bad, the reasoning behind it was incredibly insulting. I was 17 years old at the time and a senior in high school. It was a Christmas gift from my stepmother. She gave me a set of towels and told me I would need them when I moved out at 18. The kicker was she gave her son, my stepbrother, a brand new computer for Christmas. This was in 1992, when personal computers started around $4,000. I was pretty salty about it. Story 30, when I was younger, maybe 4th grade age, my friends gave me a book on manners from the American Girl books or something. They were very blunt with me, saying my manners needed work. I didn't find it insulting until years later. Story 31, mother-in-law found out me and partner were poly, and so gave me a red satin G-string for a gift that I got to open at the table at family Christmas. Because clearly the reason we were poly was because I wasn't wearing sexy underwear. Story 32, when I graduated college, my parents gave me a card to congratulate me. Inside the envelope, I never showed any real interest in my life. Father had included a fridge magnet, and this was not intended to be a joke. The fridge magnet said life doesn't come with an instruction book. That's why we have fathers. This was given to me shortly after he had stormed out of my graduation ceremony early, because apparently he doesn't have time for this. I had still have no words for that gift. Story 33, my husband's stepmom bought me a sweater made of Angora, and it was an extra small. First, I'm a medium, and second, I was a vet tech at the time, and she gave me a sweater made of animal fur, oh yeah. And I'm allergic to rabbit fur. She was aware of all of this. She also bought me a butter bell, knowing I don't eat butter, because I'm lactose intolerant. She's the worst gift giver, at least to me. Everyone else gets they like. Story 34, I'm still bitter about this, but like 7 years ago, we were doing Secret Santa at work, and my Secret Santa gave me used tissues. I was so disgusted that I ran into my other colleagues, and my Secret Santa told them that they weren't used, but just ripped out of the packaging. Story 35, my grandma has never liked me for some reason, so last month when she came from Poland to visit, she showered my siblings too, with gifts. They each got 40 and really cool antique soldier statuettes, while I got a bookmark and an XL top. I'm not a XL, I'm a small, which really hurts since she always has called me fat to my face. I just don't understand why she didn't give all of us the same gift, and it felt like she deliberately did that just to show her disliking towards me. Story 36, my mom kicked me out on Christmas and disguised it as a Christmas gift. My only present was keys to an apartment in the shittiest, worst area of town with my grandma at 13. It was really nice living with my grandma, but the apartment was, and the area of town, was the total wrong place to throw a 13-year-old impressionable young girl. Met my very extremely abusive ex-boyfriend there, who tried to kill me on multiple occasions. Wouldn't have met him had I not have been moved to the worst area of town. Also ended up in me, getting into drugs sober now, though. Story 37, my boss, who was a senior partner at the firm, didn't bother to pick out a Christmas gift. Cash would have been fine. I have to say, we adored each other, got on like a house on fire. I accommodated all his quirks, and he was truly appreciative. Awful as this sounds, I was expecting something nice or cash. He delegated the task to his wife, who bought me the cheapest, crappiest piece of fugly costume jewelry you've ever seen, like handmade, not even professional, heavy resin with rhinestones embedded in it. Couldn't even pin it on, the clasp wasn't strong enough, he didn't even see it beforehand, and was watching me eagerly open the gift. And even he thought it was crappy. You could see it in his face, it was clearly not my style, and he knew that right away. He tried to explain how Head sent his wife to do it. The whole thing was lame. Story 38, my aunt and uncle once gave my little sister a Tiffany Co. heart pendant and gave me a cheap necklace from Claire's. They spent $120 on her and $12 on me, as a nice little bonus. Hers was wrapped up all nicely, and they hadn't even bothered to put mine in a bag. I pretended to be thankful so I wouldn't embarrass my parents, but I was pissed. Other choice presents from them over the years include a pack of dollar store pens, a mood ring, and a knockoff Disney princess coloring book. One year, they gave me a 25 iTunes gift card that I knew was too good to be true, and just like I expected, it was labeled 35, but they'd only put a few dollars on it. That was the present that convinced my parents to stop going to their holiday parties. Story 39 for me, it was a year when my dad loaned me about 100 so I could buy small Christmas gifts for the rest of my family and my husband because I was working part-time then and just wasn't going to be able to swing it on time. I promised him I would pay him back in full by New Year's, and in fact had already paid back about a third of it by Christmas. Come Christmas Day, he meets us at my mother's home to give us our gifts. My gift, a shittily typed up and clip art laden piece of paper announcing that his gift to me was not having to pay back the rest of the money. Meanwhile, my younger sister, who hates him and basically wants nothing to do with him, received a mountain of new books, video games, puzzles, and tickets to see Robin Williams perform live stand-up comedy. I actually lost my Adam for that, and so did my mother, and tore up the paper. To this day, I will never forgive him for that blatant act of favoritism and cheapskate behavior. Story 41. Nothing at all for several birthdays, about 5 years in a row. Not even a congratulations, too. I live in a third-world country Samba, and Rio de Janeiro, so things here is a bit expansive, and after I grow up, I understood the pack of presents 3, Christmas and 0, for the gift I received was a beatdown for my father. I got a broken nose, scar on my lips, loose jaw, and a few broken ribs. TLDR, parents forget they have a child, and gave a beatdown as a Christmas gift at it. Thanks all for the support. I've never felt so welcome to open up about these things. Story 41, a previous friend used to give me clothes a lot as gifts, but no matter how many times I told her my size, she'd get a size or 2 smaller. Then she'd say, don't worry, it's got stretch. And then they're like, okay. Story 42, my ex-boyfriend kept telling me he had a surprise gift for me when I got home from university. It was a vacuum because you like cleaning so much as words, Yeah, I love cleaning. Yup, I totally don't do it because it needs to be done because I like to do it. Yesterday also, he didn't get the gift from me. It was actually from his mom to him. He just played it off as a gift from him to me. Story 43, after coming out to my parents as non-binary, having presented female all my life and no longer able to for my own sake, genuine present stopped. I only received perfume, makeup, bags, purses, and anything else girly they could think of, almost in an effort to get me to change my mind. The worst part is that they buy me things my sisters want, and so I just end up going to them. They full well know what they're doing, and it hurts because why couldn't they give me something not gender-related at all like they used to? For example, one time a number of years ago, they gave me a handcrafted pen because I love writing. That was meaningful, and it hurts because I know they know good things to get me, but they choose not to in an effort to make me a woman. Story 44, I got an invite to a stretching class for my birthday from my bully who WASN invited. Because I was too small to be a sixth grader, I was and still am under 4 feet. I felt so offended that I pushed him into the pool in his newly bought clothes. It was really easy to push him because he was super lightweight. Don't know how that works, and I need help. Story 45 MIL gave me a giant, frumpy black muumuu dress. One was easily 5 sizes too big for me, and 2 was clearly just something she had lying around and tossed in a gift bag for me last minute. She then proceeded to hold it up to my body and go on about how it would be a perfect fit. Story 46, an offer of tickets to fly out to see them. For everyone but my wife, who my mom can't seem to be courteous to, in the wake of them being restricted to email text, because my mom would say incredibly thoughtless, scroll-divisive things over Skype in front of our kids. But, we're apparently the ones who didn't want to be family, because we believe in boundaries. Story 47, one Christmas my uncle gave me a book in big bold letters that said how to not be an idiot. It was about the basics of politics for people that do not understand any of it. He laughed and said he gave the same book to his son. I immediately put the book down and told him I did not like it. He laughed and said, I thought you wouldn't. He had already made several comments on how I should stop trying to decide my life for me and let my dad and other men decide it for me. I am female, just very demeaning and condescending. The book just made it crystal clear. Story 48, not exactly insulting, but it made me worried. It was scented body spray from my now ex-girlfriend, along with soaps and shampoo. In the back of my mind, I thought, what, you got a problem with the soap and shampoo I use or something? Do I stink? Or do you want to smell me before you see me? I use a lot of unscented and mild stuff because a lot of my friends have scent allergies. I guess she thought I didn't smell enough that, or she thought I stank. To this day, I don't know. Story 49, my boyfriend's aunt visited and met her for the first time. Already warned me that she was a hardcore traditional Christian. I tried to be as cordial as possible during her stay, and I think she was pretty nice to me too. Cut to her last day, and I went back to his place after dropping off her aunt at the airport. Found and wrapped a gift with me and S name on it. When I opened it, lo and behold, it's a book with a title that goes something like Transformation Through Christ, written by XXX, a former homosexual changed by the teachings of the Bible. Needless to say, my gay was shooked. Wasn't so surprised because he's used to that kind of stunt pulled by her aunt. When I was 13, my grandmother on my father's side, whom I hadn't seen for 5 years, gave me a baby bag for Christmas with a note that said, if you're anything like your mother, this will come in handy. My same aged stepsister got a practically see-through top 2 sizes too big with a similar note. In the end, we swapped. She used the bag for babysitting, and I used the top as an overtop. Fair to say we haven't seen her since. Story 50, I am a terrible gift giver unless it's video games. Well, one year I gifted my ultra-religious mother George Carlin's book, Will Jesus Bring the Chops? My dad got me women's Axe deodorant for Christmas. I don't want anything fancy, but at least put just a little bit of effort and thought into the gift. I'm not a woman. Story 51, my ex-husband used to give me handwritten paper IOUs for presents Christmas, birthdays. When I would try and redeem them, he would try and convince me I didn't want them. A newer version is coming out soon. I don't think you'll use it because it's hard to learn. His mother used to give me shitty presents too. She got me a toilet seat because she thought mine wasn't clean enough. Cookbooks because you could learn something. Holidays were so special and enjoyable. Story 52, I was part of Secret Santa thing, where we would pick a gift at random from a pile. We all agreed prior that the budget would be $20, so I expect like a joke gift or something. Instead, the box I opened had a rotten banana peel in it. Story 53, this was my brother, but the whole family was insulted. One year, my grandma gifted me this beautiful gold and opal watch. She gifted my brother pink fingernail polish, then followed it up with give it to your girlfriend. He didn't have a girlfriend. Story 54, back when I was about 7, my parents kept hinting that they got me a decently sized Lego set. Shook the box and heard something that sounded like Lego bricks shaking around. Opened it, and to my dismay, it was a box of dollar store Rice Krispies cereal. Story 55. One time, a group of busybodies from my brother's school showed up to our house with a gift basket of food. They tried to give it to my mom because they said, "We know you guys don't have a lot of food," and were very patronizing. My mom pointed out our massive garden, small field of corn, dozens of chickens and ducks, cows, pigs, etc., and said we have plenty of food, but they kept pushing and claimed my brother was malnourished because his farts smelled bad. I'd say it was done out of kindness, but it totally wasn't. It was 100 masturbatory charity, was so obvious from their tone and accusations. Brother didn't look remotely malnourished, BTW. It was apparently decided solely on his farts smelling really bad. We worked on the farm, so we were all very strong and just not that fat. We had food enough, we were feeding most of our extended family. Story 56. My brother, who is religious, once received a book from his boss about why God doesn't exist. Don't remember the title, but my brother wasn't too happy. Story 57. For a Christmas Secret Santa at work got stationery which cost $1 from Woolworth. Woolworth was in the downtown area where I worked and I had seen the stationery. Didn't get a car, but a stick-em note which said Merry Christmas. Could you spare a dollar? Story 58. My dad sent me a bunch of toys meant for a 6-year-old on my 17th birthday. I was particularly insulted because it was truly another testament to the fact that he thinks I'm a child and doesn't respect me or take me seriously. My dad was a terrible father and has done nothing to make up for it. Instead, he pretends he lost his memories of my entire childhood and does like this. Story 59. Nothing, but hear me out. I have 2 grandfathers on my mom's side, her dad and her stepdad. Both I was really close to growing up. My step-grandfather and my grandmother split up when I was 11 or so, and he went off and married someone younger than my mom. We kept in touch, holidays, etc. On my 17th birthday, he came to the party. It was a nice little family shindig. After cake and presents, nothing from him, which is a little weird head, always given really good gifts, we're sitting around doing coffee dessert. He calls over my cousin who's a few years younger than me and says, "Hey buddy, your birthday is coming up ISN. What do you want me to get for you?" And they discussed that for a few minutes. Awkward. It felt like the weirdest slap in the face. I'm not complaining about the no gift. That's understandable. And okay, it was the thing with my cousin in a room full of my family. He's very wrapped up in his own new life now. So that was pretty much the start of it. He sent me a card for my wedding and a congratulations text when my daughter was born, but I can count on one hand the amount of times I've interacted with him in the last 10 or so years. I suffer from social anxiety, so I'm quiet, socially awkward. At one job, many people in the office made jokes that I would shoot the place up based on my social anxiety. I found this really offensive, so the insulting gift was my line manager bought me a plastic gun as a secret Santa present. Story 60. A guy I dated for 2 weeks at a time bought me a box of 128 condoms for my 22nd birthday. He winked at me when I opened the box in front of my friends and family and promised the best birthday of my life. Needless to say, none of those condoms were used. Story 61. Husband's estranged grandparents got us the ugliest bedsheet comforter set as a wedding present. It was for a queen bed. We have a king, which wasn't a big deal, because how were they supposed to know our mattress size? Except they'd left the clearance price stickers all over the packaging. This was after they took the liberty of RSVPing for an extra person on our wedding invitation, and then not bothering to show up anyway. Story 62. My wife got me a shiny orange tie from Hermes. Being from Hermes, it has H all over it. We live in Japan, and H is basically slang for in Japanese. So now I have a shiny orange tie with the local equivalent of written all over it. In terms of dress at work, Japan is fairly conservative, and honestly, I can't wear that tie at all. It looks terrible without H written all over it. Great way for my wife to waste 100 though. Story 63. My MIL gave our 1-year-old kid on their first B-day a Bible storybook and a little set of books about morals. We are atheists, and she knows this. When I told her no thank you, our kid wouldn't use them. She said she thought it would be useful for teaching our kid morals. Yeah, because obviously we don't have any. Without that Bible, we just can't keep ourselves from murder, adultery, eating babies. It's tough, man.